Greetings. It's been a while. Upload. Fan might be a little loud. That might be better. That dude's blind. I had people messaging me and texting, Facebook, some YouTube comments. Some of them just, concern, and some of them friends that I've made in the last 5 years through this whole YouTube journey thing. And yeah, it's nice to know that people think about you. It's also I don't know. It's when you think you've got problems, and you start to talk about them, you may find that other people start coming to you for advice, direction, hope, if not anything else. It's like maybe you've been in a situation yourself where it's not so great, and other people, knowing that you survived it, will come and ask you advice. How did you survive it? How did you deal with it? Give me a piece of candy. Give me something. Give me something to latch onto, or whatever, like some wisdom, some humor, some advice, some friendship. And sometimes that's surprising. I don't know if you've ever had someone that you admire or respect come to you for advice or friendship, or some kind of wisdom, as if you would know. I think most of us are just sort of surviving the best we know how. There's sometimes not any good reasons for things, or answers to questions, and sometimes that's all that you need to tell someone, or be told that it's just okay to let it go. Also, and then I'll say this about letting go of things: it can be like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders, but sometimes there's things that just don't seem to want to go. And you might just need to let go of letting go. I've been reading quite a bit. I've decreased the dosage of the anti-anxiety medicine that I've been on for 3 years pretty substantially in the last 2 months. I was on a benzodiazepine, 2 milligrams a day, Klonopin, and tapered down to the equivalent of 1/4 milligram once or twice a day, which was really hard. Really hard. The year before that, I had stopped taking opiates, so that was really hard too. I'm back in Louisiana waiting for an answer on the disability claim that my therapist made a case. She basically had to present this to me as a case because I've never really been into, how do I say this? I was not of the frame of mind or belief that maybe I need some help, in the form of a government handout, because that's the prevailing thought in my social circles, is that if you have to go and file for disability, you are either crippled for life, meaning that you can't work because of a physical injury, or you're basically a freeloader. Mental disability is usually a cop-out. So yeah, my therapist had to really make a case, and in the back of my mind I kind of knew that after the surgery and whatever, torn Achilles, that physically things were going to be different for a while. What I didn't count on was the diagnosis that I got, and I've been sort of trying to come to grips with it. It's a late kind of diagnosis. But the truth is that there's some things that are, you look through the thing, and it's an analysis, right? It's just an analysis of what's going on with my physical body, my brain, physical and mental analysis. And the best that you can do with the diagnosis is to match as best as you can all the different symptoms that you tend to get. So, I've had visual disturbances for a long time. That's how I got involved with a certain religion that was able to cure me of that. And speaking of that, there's the wave seems to have crested. There's a certain show that their final episode, and while they say it's just the beginning, who knows? When I was coming off of the benzos, much like any other drug designed for what this is designed for, anxiety and stuff, or depression, shit like that. You take the drugs, original symptoms may occur, or you have rebound symptoms that mimic and or exceed the original reason that you needed to take them to begin with. So I had this tremendous anxiety about this organization that I was part of, and because they're under enormous amount of scrutiny, and because people who talk about this organization after they leave are under an enormous amount of scrutiny from the organization itself. It feels like you can be attacked from both angles. At least that's how I was feeling. To a great degree. And then when you add on top of it like reality of this organization, like trying to intimidate people by doing silly things, following you around. Tends to exaggerate the fear and the paranoia and the anxiety. There's a quote in one of their commonly referenced materials that we'd rather have you dead than not one of us. We'd rather have you dead than incapable. And of course, the only way for someone to become capable is to practice their religion. I get that, I'm being highly ambiguous at the moment, but it's what I feel comfortable saying. I shared a lot. I shared things with you guys that I was discovering on my own as I was sharing them. And then I've been discovering things, in between. And I'm not sure where I'm arriving at yet. What prompted me to make this video is just sort of, I haven't done a video in a month, and there's been people messaging me and stuff, and I don't want anyone to worry, but I don't feel obligated to make the video either. I'm going to quote probably horribly wrong, from a book or an essay that I'm reading by Henry David Thoreau. It's called The Life Without Principle. And there's so much good in this essay. I highly recommend reading it. You can find it on YouTube. Life Without Principle, Henry David Thoreau. It's about an hour long. It says, I'm paraphrasing, in our daily social interactions, it is surface meets surface. Surface level shit. Surface meets surface. So, how does that relate to my message here? Well, I guess it relates because I've, coming back to Louisiana, after a good friend of mine passed, who was a very well-known artist in this community, very well loved, very influential. However, during his life, just like uh, much of the tragedy of many artists that pass away, uh, unappreciated in their life. That's not to say that my friend was not appreciated during his life, but a whole other level of appreciation emerged upon his death. And a huge hole in the community became very apparent. And the musical community here is kind of shocked still. It's been almost a year, but his existence or lack of existence now left such a huge, deep impact on everyone. It's a guy who knew everybody, and he's a human being, so he has likes and dislikes. And there were people that he liked, disliked, but he was very aware of his dislikes and very conscious about trying to be a loving person. He himself was the target of a lot of ugliness in his life, and I think that he never wanted other people to feel that way. Now, surface meets surface, all right? So on the surface, when you see someone or you meet someone, then it's a superficial kind of a connection at first. Even for someone who is has every intention of being a person of depth. There is that inevitable moment when you first meet someone where it is surface meets surface. You cannot go past the surface without penetrating it. However, a lot of people will just stay. They won't ever penetrate. They don't even want to. They don't want to see what's behind the surface. Social. So sort of a social blindness, or maybe not blindness, maybe just a lack of interest, maybe uncomfortable subjects. If someone who has a lot of depth to their personality may make others uncomfortable, or a lot of depth of life experience, or depth in any other form or fashion that may make someone uncomfortable. Someone may have a very a very deep connection with violence or something that you don't like. And so that may just keep you from being interested in getting through the surface. It's almost like a judgment. I'll admit there are certain things that I do that with myself when I see motorcycle clubs. There's a depth that I don't want to explore. It's not that I have any sort of preconceived judgment of that person. There's a depth to what they're representing that I do not want to go past, because I've been past that before. Specifically with motorcycle clubs, and nothing against motorcycle clubs. there are some depths that I am not comfortable with. And so that varies from person to person. And when someone comes to you with a friend or acquaintance or someone you don't even really know, and they are aware of a depth that you have or an ability to communicate immediately instead of that initial surface to surface, like you immediately reveal the depth. It seems to invoke in a lot of people who are more connected or exploring their own depths. It seems to lower inhibitions insofar as how the person will communicate to you initially. And what I mean by that is, as a simple example, is someone who you don't know, but they are aware that you have this depth, will approach you with depth. And so it is no longer a surface-to-surface situation where it's like, hi, oh yeah, I'm good, your typical supermarket conversation. Not much depth. But when people approach you and they are aware of this depth and they themselves are exploring their own depths, seems to me that they're interested in how you can help them and what your experiences are in exploring your own depth, because it can be scary to explore that. To really think about what your motivations are, what your the fact that we're human beings and that we have all these terrible inclinations towards one another, even for well-meaning people. Like I said, my friend had his likes and dislikes, and he was very conscious of this, and part of his legacy is his transcendence of his likes and dislikes. I'm going to continue this video. I have to plug my phone in.